If you're watching this video, you're likely playing Valorant on autopilot. And I don't just mean you as a player, I mean your entire team, and the way you guys move and play and rotate and all that jazz is so predictable. This is how it is for most players in lower elo. And this is why players in higher elo are able to go down to lower elo and smurf and destroy everyone's game. But today I'm going to show you guys how to master something called timings, okay? Now it's very important that you guys understand this because timing is literally everything, okay? And I'm tired of people saying the same thing over and over again. Oh, I got timinged. Oh, it's just unlucky. It's not my fault. I just got timing. Like, what is that timing? Sure, 0.1% of the time, you might be getting timinged. But if it's anything above that, then it's actually a you problem. Because believe it or not, in the game of Valorant, you can create your own timings. And this is literally what I did effectively. Everything that I'm going to show you in this video is literally a blueprint to what I used to do all the time and actually allowed me to rank up fast. So listen carefully, it's free value. There's nothing for you to lose out of this, but there's everything for you to gain. So let's jump right into it. Number one, this is how most players play ranked, right? Run it down, run it down, run it down, run it down. Oh, we met some resistance, guys. Like there's like 3 people here. All right, guys, let's rotate, rotate. Maybe one guy's gonna go through spawn, one guy's gonna go here, and one guy's gonna go here. All right, cool, guys. Rotate fast, rotate fast, rotate fast, guys. Rotate fast, rotate fast. I'm gonna go mid because I think I can get a good timing mid. All right, rotate, rotate. Everyone here, guys, they're rotating. Let's go here, and then all of a sudden it becomes 50-50 duels again because whoever makes it first makes it first, and usually you're gonna meet some resistance here too, right? There's gonna be people ready to take on fights, and all of a sudden it's a 50-50 round, right? Now, this is the common way that players go about it, right? But I want to talk about something which is creating timings, right? But the truth is, the essence of creating a timing is called lurking, but it's not the type of lurk that you think, okay? Most players think, especially in lower elo, I see this all the time. When I say the word lurking, they're thinking like, okay, my team is starting here. I'm going to start here, all right? And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to lurk mid, or maybe I'm going to lurk A. And don't get me wrong. Yes, this is technically a lurk, right? And this can be a good lurk for certain rounds and whatnot. But in reality, there is something completely different, which is going to be much, much stronger, which is also considered lurking. And that's called lurking after being inserted somewhere onto the map. If you don't know what being inserted means, it essentially means that your entire team takes some space somewhere, right? And they don't actually commit out. They insert you into the area and then they leave. Okay, so for example, this is a very basic example. This could be considered inserting a player. Now, the beautiful thing about inserting a player versus actually lurking on the opposite side wherever your team starts is that your lurk is no longer dependent on your team's success. Now, I would argue that lurking after being inserted somewhere on the map is going to be far more beneficial to you learning and mastering your timings versus just lurking somewhere on the opposite side. The reason for why is there's a couple of things. Number one, your lurk is no longer dependent on your team. What do I mean by that, right? What I mean is whenever you lurk on the opposite side of the map, your team has to follow guidelines, right? They need to bait out shots, bait out util, and essentially they all need to live so that I'm just putting some random characters, but for example, let's say these guys are all here, and let's say that you are Cypher and you're lurking on the other side. So I'm going to give like the general lurk example that most players in lower elo follow, right? So in this scenario, these guys are all lurking here, right? And you are the only one lurking here. What does this mean? This means that these guys should not just be running it down fully onto site. Ideally, what they want to do is they want to bait some util out, bait a smoke out, bait some shots out, pull some rotates, right? Pull some attention onto the B site. They want to use a lot of utility, show that there is at least 3 or more players here. And that's once they start drawing that attention onto the B site, that creates a timing for you to start working, whether it's working up the mid map, working up A, and they need to live so that you can actually get into a power position before they start executing. If we're looking at ascent, right? What's a good power position? I would say once you're somewhere around here. Now, is this realistic? The answer is no. right? Most teams in ranked are not going to wait that long. They're not going to wait. They're not going to bait out enough util. They're not going to do it properly. They're not going to be able to do enough damage till you're either in this power position here or till you're either in somewhere like here, right? These two are really strong power positions to be in before your team decides to exec out onto the site. But again, in ranked, nobody's on board. Your team doesn't want to listen. You don't want to listen, whatever the case may be. But this is why insertions are so powerful, guys. This is exactly what I followed to literally just dominate. And I'm going to show you that exactly in this video. So what do I mean by inserting, right? Let's take bind, for example. Let's say your teammates are not on board, right? We're going back to the example that your teammates are just not on board, right? They don't want to listen. They're not on board. They don't want to do this, that. But it doesn't matter anymore, because if you are inserting yourself into a power position, you're going to be fine. So what do I mean by that? Let's say your teammates start off A, okay? And this goes back to predictability, by the way. I'm going to show you what I mean in a sec, right? You and Omen decide to go showers. You guys go showers, you guys go showers. These guys go here, and all of a sudden you're met with a lot of resistance. You have a smoke from the brim. You got a brim molly here. You see that there's a KJ turret up here. All of a sudden there's a lot of people here. Maybe there's a raise nade being thrown at you. And now your team is like, okay, guys, there's 3 people here. A lot of resistance. Let's all rotate. What happens typically, I'm gonna show what happens normally, and then I'm gonna show what you should do, right? What normally happens at this point is everyone's like, okay, let's rotate. Everyone comes out, everyone starts rotating, right? Maybe someone would try to go through mid, maybe someone will try to get a mid lurk, whatever the case may be, right? This is your average rotation, very readable, very predictable, and a lot of times players on the enemy team will be like, okay guys, they're rotating, let's go ahead and start rotating as well, and all of a sudden you're back to 50-50s, right? Okay. Now, this is where the power of inserting yourself really starts to show, because you as the only player hiding in showers while your entire team rotates, this is called an insertion, right? You've just inserted yourself in this area of the map and your entire team is leaving you. Now, this is important because now as your team is leaving, these players here, they're eventually going to have the understanding that, okay, nobody's here again, right? These guys have all left. They've rotated. It's a common pattern. This is why you need to pick up on this, guys. It's a very, very common pattern. So what happens? There's going to be the first round where they all realize that these guys all left, and they're going to be like, all right, guys, rotate. Usually for this round, you as the person who's inserted onto the map can play off of what's called audio cues, right? Once you hear these guys running away, what happens? Now you can take your timing and you can get behind them, and you'll usually get 1 or 2 or even 3, depending on how well you timing this lurk. Now, this is important, guys. I said timings and creating your own timings. The more you, experiment with inserting yourself in areas of the map, the more you're going to master timings. Timings is everything, but if you don't use insertions, if you don't insert yourself in areas of the map, you're not going to master timings the same way. Me, personally, I used to do everything with timings. You can ask any of my friends that I queued with. I was always pushing into people's spawns on offense, trying to find my own lurks, right? I was always lurking on defense. I was always inserting myself in certain areas. If my team is doing something, I'm going to stick with them until they're doing something else, and I'm still going to stick on the original plan. I'm going to lurk. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to insert myself, right? All these different things. This is what's going to actually help you. Oh my God. Not the alarm. Okay, we're good. So anyways, going back to the point, right? So now the question becomes, okay, now you kind of understand what insertions are. You kind of understand timings. You can hear the audio cues of players running away, and then you can take advantage of that audio cue and get behind them, right? It's cool. Everything is cool. But then what happens the next round, right? Let's say the first round you're successful with this timing. You have to go, you killed 3 people, right? What's going to happen the next round? They're now going to be on high alert, right? They're going to be like, okay, there might be a guy lurking, right? Cypher might be lurking. Even if your team leaves, they're probably going to be aware of your lurk. But guess what? This is exactly what you want. This is what people don't understand, right? People really don't understand this concept, okay? So many people, they'll do this play, right? Not because they know or they understand what an insert is. Even in lower elo, sometimes they'll just do it by themselves. They're like, oh, I want to get a good timing. And they'll get a good timing. They'll kill a lot of players. And then the next round, they won't do it anymore, right? They'll be like, oh, I can't do it anymore because, they know, right? They obviously know. But the funny thing about this to me is that you want them to know. This is the point, guys, right? Think about it, okay? Normally, if we go back to the original example, normally when everyone's rotating, what did I say happens when everyone comes to this point? it becomes a 50-50 again, right? The reason why it becomes a 50-50 is because all of a sudden you have some players that are already rotated over, and then you have the remaining amount of players that were already on site. So once again, it's a 50-50. Whoever wins, whoever has more utility, whoever can shoot their shots. This is the pure basis of ranked. It's just 50-50 rounds, right? Of course, there are ways to eliminate this, and this is one of the ways that I'm explaining right now. But if we go back to what I said earlier, if the opponents know that you're lurking showers the next round, this actually makes it more better for you, because if your teammates decide to rotate, once again, right, what's going to happen? These guys on site, they can no longer just rotate fast and make it a 50-50 for the guys on B site. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even if you are just sitting showers, living, taking your time, these players have to take their time to go inside showers and clear everything first before they rotate, or they're going to be waiting back here to see if you're going to peek off of a lurk. What does that do? It essentially gives your team the odds. It no longer becomes a 50-50, because at least you're eliminating part of the equation, meaning all these players that are on B site, they're going to be later. You know what I mean? They're going to take their time when they're lurking now. And so now everyone that's hitting B site, it's all in your favor. And if you don't believe me, just try this out. Try using insertions to your advantage. You can use it multiple rounds so many times over and over again. The more you use it, the more attention you draw to yourself, the more you can, lessen the amount of rotates, or the rotate time and the speed, right? Because now they have to worry about you. And when they're worried about you, all of a sudden you give your team the odds when they're pushing B side, right? And this can be replicated on any map, literally any map. It's not just bind, you could literally do it on any map, right? Even maps like this, but typically if there's 3 sites, it's a bit harder, so I wouldn't recommend necessarily inserting yourself. You have to, okay, when it comes to maps with 3 sites, yes, you can insert yourself, but you want to get a little bit better with timings first, because a lot of times if people insert themselves on a site with on a map with 3 sites, what's going to happen is the timing might be really off and they're going to be really late and blah, blah, blah. It's like a headache, right? So I wouldn't recommend doing it on 3 sites until you master your timings on sites that have only 2 sites, right? So again, this can be replicated on literally anything. Let's go on Sunset, for example, right? Literally anywhere, anything, anytime, right? Let's say your team is doing a B split, right? Or not even a B split. Or yeah, we'll just say a B split, right? I'll just show you an example, right? Let's say that you guys are pushing in through mid, you're here, you and Omen are here now, and then you have 3 teammates that are B main. Cool. Now, what's gonna happen, right? Same thing. You guys get smoked off, Brim Molly, Raise Nade, maybe there's a KJ Molly as well. All of a sudden your team's like, all right guys, let's rotate, right? Once again, what's the common thing that happens? Everyone starts pulling back, right? Everyone pulls back. But what if you insert yourself here? What if you literally just hide behind here and you just have faith that no one's going to clear you? Then what happens? Now you have an insane timing, right? Now you've created a timing for yourself. All of a sudden, when these guys are rotating, they're going to have to walk past you, or they're going to go from here. Either way, you can now effectively lurk behind them. Did you have to start on the other side of the map to make this lurk happen? Absolutely not, right? You did not have to start on the other side of the map. You started with your team, but you inserted yourself with your team, and then you let your team leave you, and then you use that timing to your advantage. This is how you can literally force rounds into your favor and literally win rounds just like that. And the best part is, even if they know, now at least it's no longer a 50-50. You might have to take some more time when next time you're inserted, right? You might have to hide a little bit longer, right? They're going to have to push into you to clear you, but what's going to happen? You have the odds. You know what's happening. You know that they're pushing into you, right? You can hold for it, right? And even if they do push into you and kill you, you just bought your team extra time to actually securely make this rotate and no longer have to worry about 50-50s happening on the site. At least the odds are going to be a little tiny bit more in your team's favor, which already increases the odds of you winning the round. So yeah, simple as that, guys. Go ahead and implement it and let me know how it goes.